It's Marilyn Devnish here from transformationstm.com, and this is a question I've been asked several times since I launched it 3.5, 4 years ago, whenever it was, about whether or not I could do a special deal on this particular workshop in terms of they ask about the in-person one as well, but of course the video webinar version. And I've always said no. Now, I did do a really incredible deal when I first launched it 3 years ago. So for those of you on my e-newsletter list, if you were lucky enough, you kind of jumped on that and grabbed that. But I haven't done anything since then because the workshop is already incredibly good value. It includes a ton of stuff. It's not even reflected in the price in terms of the amount that's delivered, in terms of the time, in terms of the course materials, in terms of the value of the skills that you get. So, and people often come to the workshop and they will say on the first evening, you're not charging enough for this, this is underpriced. So it's always been a no outside of doing that very special launch deal for my e-newsletter list. However, came up with an idea today, and some of you might have seen it on my Facebook page, where I was like, okay, I've thought of a way that I could facilitate reduced price points. And so this morning it was just kind of a random idea in terms of, I wonder if I could do that. I sat down, looked at the tech, figured it out, and it is possible for me to do it. So what I have done is, it's going to be quite small on the screen, but if it's not already there, I believe it should be in the description of this video. There is a link. I will also place the link in the comments. And if you happen to be watching this on Facebook, it will be in the comments. If you're on YouTube, I'll put it in the description. But what I've actually done is created a series of price points, which means that you can have limited access, because when you purchase the full workshop for £750, it's lifetime access. However, what I've decided this morning, I woke up thinking, actually, I could do that. I could offer 7-day access, 30-day access and 60-day access, because when you actually go to a regular workshop outside of COVID, you travel to the workshop, you do the training, you go home again, that's it. So you don't have lifetime access to the material anyway. You go, you get the information, and then you leave and you go home. So what I decided to do this morning, I did a little kind of meditation thinking, okay, what can I do with the photo reading given that I am not reducing the price? That was the idea that I came up with, to give limited time, and then depending on the shortest amount of time. So I've set it up at the moment and it's just for the next kind of 24 hours, just over 24 hours, ends at midnight tomorrow night for the pre-launch that you're seeing here. If you wanted 7-day access, now it's a 3-day training. So if you wanted 7-day access, I've put it up at 247. If you wanted 30 days, 347. And if you want 60 days, 2 months, 447 at the moment. And if you just want to buy the full lifetime access, it's 750. I put it in at 748. I don't know why. That used to be the old price. But anyway, I'll leave it. £2. What's the difference? So that's what I've done. And when you go to the page, what you will see, just so you don't have to go, oh my gosh, what time is it? There's a countdown timer. This was a screenshot from a few hours ago, but it will finish tomorrow night. So the 22nd of September at midnight, BST, British Summer Time. And then what I will do, so at some point tomorrow, once I'm still on my staycation, but I'll have a tiny little break in the staycation, and I'll upload. I might just leave it at that and let that expire and be done with it. But if I do decide I'll kind of extend it maybe for a couple more days, then I'll put a different set of prices up. But the timer is on, so you can see how long the offer is available for. All you need to do is go to the site, and it's www.transformationstm.zenler.com. So it's on the screen, and it will be in the comments as well. But go to that site, and then you just choose. Do you want to have access to it for 7 days? Do you want to have access to it for a month? Do you want to have access to it for 2 months? And then what it happens at the end of that time, it calculates from the time that you sign up. And then the system will work that out, and you'll have access for the amount of time that you've paid for. So I think for me, that's a pretty good compromise in terms of, can I do a deal for the photo reading workshop? No. Can I do something which allows you to get a deal? Here it is. So that's that will be the thing that I would suggest you do. So you've got just over 24 hours if you happen to be watching this in real time. If you've got any questions, if you've got any queries, you can send an email It's Marilyn at transformationstm.com. Marilyn is Marilyn at trance, TRANCE, F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark.com. If you want information about the photo reading workshop itself, in terms of, and we cover the same material on the in-person workshop that we do on the video webinar. So go to transformationstm.com/photo reading, and you'll find testimonial videos from clients that I've done a full Q&A. What is photo reading? How does it work? So all of that is on the website. So you can go forth and have a look. And in terms of my thinking around this one, it being a great time, of course, we've had children at home for nearly half a year. So if any of you are struggling with homeschooling, it's of course amazing and perfect for that. And also for those of you who are employed, you're executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, and you want to get your head back in the game in terms of improving your creativity, your productivity, getting more done in less time, improving your critical thinking and decision-making skills, enhancing your intuition for those of you who are maybe more spiritually inclined. It's incredible for all of those things and so much more. There is a video on the Zenler page, and I've put together a summary. I did it a few years ago, but it'll give you a flavor, a summary of the types of people that have attended the photo reading workshop, the results that they've had. And I've had everyone from crystal healers and therapists right through to accountants, lawyers, doctors, surgeons. I've even had a team of rocket scientists from Cranfield University. Their feedback is on the Zenler page website, so you can go and read a summary of what they said about photo reading. And trust me, when you are a rocket scientist and you've got a PhD and all the rest of it, you know how to learn and you know how to study, and it just blew their mind. So all of that you can read those testimonials, they're up on the page. But my suggestion is, if you've always wanted to do photo reading, or you know that you're under pressure and stress and anxiety is getting in the way of you being able to think clearly, then photo reading is amazing for that. For those who have maybe done a bit of photo reading or know a little bit about it, you'll maybe know that step one is all about state control and the whole thing about being in a state of relaxed alertness. And I have been saying for the last 20 years, that photo reading goes way beyond reading. Reading faster is just the tip of the iceberg. You know, it sounds outlandish for some people to be saying you're going to learn to read at 25,000 words per minute and be able to photo read a whole book from start to finish in approximately 5 minutes. That's like for many people. However, that's just like, yeah, that's great. And there's all this other stuff. And step one of photo reading, again, for people with dyslexia, dyspraxia, it's been fantastic, amazing for that as well. However, I always say it's a state that you can take into all areas of your life. So when I'm teaching people, and I did a radio interview with Rachel CK this morning. We were talking about fearless public speaking, and one of the aspects I included in that workshop, because Rachel was sharing how she went from just about being able to present to a small group and being nervous about that, but definitely not wanting to do big groups. And she took my one-day fearless public speaking video webinar workshop because she was invited to do a bigger talk for several hundred people, did the workshop, absolutely loved it. And now she's just launched her own radio show, and I was a guest on the show today. And part of the process that I've taught on that workshop is from photo reading, because that is a state that you can take anywhere. And the applications of photo reading are too numerous to mention, and it really is a case of you deciding what direction do you want to take this and where do you want to go with this information. So yes, for public speaking, presenting, doing interviews, as in job interviews. I've had people use it for job interviews. And of course, with what's happening now with furlough, the redundancies, a lot of people find themselves in a position where they need to turn up at an interview, be that virtual and online or in person, and be head and shoulders above the crowd. Actually, what I will do is I'll find the link, because I documented it in a blog in terms of working with a client. I did a talk at the Royal Bank of Scotland for the Women in Technology group, and she happened to be in the audience and had put herself up for a promotion, had not interviewed for 10 years. And she'd heard me talking about photo reading. I was there first. I did a lunch and learn session for 45 minutes. They loved it so much, so they invited me back to do an evening session. which was 2.5 hours. And she was in the evening session. And she said, I listened to you talking and it sounded as though it could be useful for doing interviews as well. So we did a Skype session. No idea what she even looked like. It was kind of camera off session. And part of what I taught her was a big proportion of photo reading in terms of how to get yourself into state. She had to do a panel interview and only had like 2 or 3 days to prepare. So talking about how you can use photo reading for that. Also, of course, from a coaching perspective, reframing the why haven't you applied for a promotion in the last 10 years and all of that stuff. And then taking her out into a future timeline, etc. And I'll let you read the blog to find out what happened, but let's just say it was good news. So yeah, there are so many ways you can use it over and above exams, etc. So if you are interested, take yourself over to the Zenler page. What you'll see is just out of shot, but that blue square there, that is the video, which gives you a summary. And I've also listed some of the professions that have attended my photo reading workshop over the last 18 years. I've been a photo reading instructor since March 2002. So press play. The video runs for just under 5 minutes. Have a watch of that. That would give you a flavor. Is this for you? And then if you would like to grab this pre-launch offer, as I said, it was just kind of a whim this morning, kind of sitting going, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? This was the idea that came to mind. So if you've always wanted to do photo reading, or you're curious about it, or you think that your children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, etc., would benefit from this and wanting to hit the ground running as lockdown starts, hopefully to ease and be ahead of the game rather than struggling to keep up, then I really strongly suggest that you head on over, click the link and decide which of the 4 options you want to take. And as I said, they'll be available until midnight tomorrow night for those of you watching this in real time. If you're watching this out of real time, you can always purchase the full access, the lifetime access, which is £750 if you're watching this in current time. So yeah, let me know how you get on. Happy photo reading. And it does also contain a bonus 30-minute one-to-one, either telephone, Skype, or online meeting room session with me as well, where we can do a Q&A once you've taken the workshop, and we can then just kind of refine what you've been doing. So head on over, click the link, sign up for the class, and just decide which of the 4 tiers you want. Thank you so much for watching. And if you know someone who could benefit from photo reading and accelerated learning, please feel free to share this link with them. And it is time limited, so share it now. Catch you later.